Healing is often misunderstood. Many people believe that with enough time, wounds will fade on their own. But true healing, emotional, mental, and spiritual, does not come just by waiting. It comes through deliberate, intentional effort. It is not passive, it is active. You cannot sit in pain and expect it to disappear without making any effort to rise above it. Time can numb pain, yes, but effort transforms it. Time may distance you from what hurt you, but only effort can remove its power over you. Healing starts the moment you decide to face your pain with sincerity and turn it into a means of growth. Many of us carry wounds from relationships, betrayal, disappointment, failure, or even our own mistakes. We try to push those feelings aside. We stay busy. We distract ourselves. We think that ignoring it will somehow resolve it. But what happens? The pain resurfaces in different ways: in anger, in mistrust, in fear, in self-doubt. You can't bury pain and expect it to die. You have to confront it. You have to understand it. And most importantly, you have to bring it in front of Allah and say, "This is where it hurts. This is what I need help with." Healing begins when you stop blaming others and start asking, "What can I do differently now?" It is not about pretending it didn't happen. It's about processing what happened, learning from it, and refusing to let it define who you are moving forward. It is about taking ownership of your heart and saying, "I may not have chosen what hurt me, but I choose how I respond to it now." That is effort, that is power, that is faith in action. There is no shame in being hurt. We all are, at some point. Even the most righteous go through heartbreak. The Prophet, peace be upon him, experienced grief, rejection, and loss. He cried, he felt sorrow, but he never let it stop his mission or consume his heart. He turned to prayer, he turned to patience, he turned to Allah. That is what we must learn to do. Healing is not the absence of sadness, it is learning how to carry sadness with grace and faith until it eases. One of the most powerful tools in healing is dua. When you make dua with your heart exposed, your soul feels heard. It is not always about the words, it's about the sincerity. Even if you don't know what to say, even if all you say is, "Ya Allah, help me," that is enough. When you make the effort to turn to Him instead of the world, you have already started your healing, because no one can comfort your heart like the one who created it. Another effort in healing is changing your environment. If you stay around the same people, in the same habits, with the same mindset, the pain will keep repeating itself. Sometimes healing requires separation. Sometimes it means saying no to people you love. Sometimes it means walking away from what feels familiar but keeps wounding you. Healing demands courage, and courage comes when you realize your soul is worth protecting. Part of that protection also means being kind to yourself. Many people delay their healing because they keep blaming themselves. They replay their mistakes over and over again. They speak to themselves with harshness. But healing cannot happen in a heart that is constantly attacked. Even if the attacker is yourself, forgive yourself. You are human. You are not perfect. You are allowed to grow from your past, not be imprisoned by it. Allah is more merciful with you than you are with yourself. So take it as a sign to soften your own heart. Be gentle with your journey. When you make effort toward healing, it also changes how you view the people around you. You start to see who brings you peace and who drains your energy. You begin to recognize which conversations uplift you and which ones keep you stuck. Healing gives you clarity. And that clarity allows you to choose better company, better habits, better thoughts. But know this: healing is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel like you've moved on, and then out of nowhere, a memory, a word, or even a scent brings back the pain. That doesn't mean you're weak or broken, it means you're human. Healing is a cycle. What matters is that each time you are knocked down, you make the effort to rise again. That rising, that is where the growth happens. That effort is what builds your strength. Allah sees your effort, even when others don't, even when you cry alone, even when you struggle silently. Every tear, every prayer, every attempt to move forward is known by Him, and He does not let any effort go to waste. In fact, the Quran reminds us, indeed with hardship comes ease. Not after hardship with it. That means in your very struggle there is already a seed of healing being planted. You just have to keep nurturing it. And remember, healing is not becoming who you used to be. It's about becoming who you were meant to be, wiser, stronger, more aware, more connected to your Creator. Sometimes pain breaks us only to rebuild us better. Sometimes the very thing that shattered your heart becomes the reason you finally turn toward Allah with sincerity. And in that turning, in that effort, you find something far more beautiful than what you lost. You find yourself. You find peace. You find purpose. So if you are hurting right now, don't wait for time to fix you. Time does not heal wounds without your participation. Begin today. Reflect. Make dua. Take a small step. Walk away from what's hurting you. Speak kindly to yourself. Seek help if needed. Cry in sujood. Write down your feelings. Learn from your pain. And above all, trust that the one who sees your effort will never leave you without reward. Healing is not a miracle that happens overnight. It is a journey of effort, patience and faith, and that journey begins the moment you decide to try. Healing is a journey that begins the moment you decide to walk toward Allah. It's easy to wait for things to improve, to hope that one day the pain will disappear, or the confusion will clear on its own. But true healing doesn't begin in stillness. It begins with motion. It begins when you take even one small step toward your Creator. That step may be as simple as raising your hands in sincere prayer, getting up for Fajr despite the heaviness in your heart, or turning away from a harmful habit even though it's difficult. When you walk toward Allah, even crawling if you must, He meets you with more mercy than you can imagine. So many people sit in silence, waiting for a miracle, not realizing that the miracle often lies in their own decision to act. Allah has promised us that whoever comes to me walking, I come to him running. That's not metaphor, it's divine encouragement. It is a reminder that your smallest step is seen, honored and magnified. Healing begins when you stop waiting for change and start making that change, one intentional choice at a time. You don't need to leap, you just need to move. Think of the people of the past, those whom Allah praised in the Quran. None of them were perfect. Many of them experienced loss, grief, betrayal, loneliness. But what did they do? They turned to Allah. Look at Yunus as. In the belly of the whale, surrounded by complete darkness, he did not say, I will wait until I'm free. No, he cried out, La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz zalimin. He took a step toward Allah from where he was, and that one step made in sincerity opened the door to his freedom and healing. Sometimes we feel too broken to pray, too guilty to ask, too far gone to hope, but that is a trick of Shaitan. He wants you to believe you must be perfect before turning to your Lord. But Allah wants you to turn to Him precisely because you are broken. He loves the sound of the sincere voice that calls out even when it's trembling. He loves when the sinner repents, when the weak reach out, when the lost seek guidance. That is the step that begins healing. The moment you recognize that your pain is not a barrier to Allah, but a bridge. There is healing in prayer. There is healing in prostration. There is healing in the quiet moments after you say Amen. When your forehead touches the ground, and you pour your heart out, something shifts. Your problems may still be there. The storm may not vanish instantly, but your heart begins to breathe again. Your soul begins to lighten. Because when you walk toward Allah, you are walking toward peace. You are walking toward the source of healing itself. Many people ask, but I've prayed, I've cried. Why am I still hurting? The truth is, healing is not always about removing the pain instantly. It's about transforming how you carry it. Allah may not always take away the trial, but He strengthens your heart to bear it. He increases your patience. He sends you moments of calm amidst the chaos. He places people in your life to support you. He opens doors you didn't even know existed. But you must take that first step. You must want the healing. You must want Him. There is also healing in obedience. When you start aligning your life with what pleases Allah, even if it's one step at a time, you will notice a shift within. Leaving what is haram, even if it's difficult, brings peace you can't buy. Replacing gossip with remembrance, exchanging music for Quran, abandoning toxic friendships for righteous companionship, these are steps toward healing. The more you walk away from what disconnects you from Allah, the closer you feel to who you truly are. The soul was created to be in submission, and it will not find rest until it returns there. You don't need to have it all figured out to walk toward Allah. Start with what you can. One sincere repentance, one heartfelt dua, one verse of Quran, one extra sajda, that is your walk, that is your step. And the beauty is, Allah doesn't count how far you walk, He counts how sincere. He doesn't expect perfection, He welcomes intention. Even if you stumble, even if you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, just keep facing Him, just keep moving, and never underestimate the power of your small acts. The tear you shed in the quiet of the night is not forgotten. The heartbreak you conceal from others but share with Allah is written down. The silent patience you show in the face of trials is a form of worship. These are your steps, and every one of them brings you closer to healing. You may not feel it right away. Healing often comes quietly. It might not arrive with fireworks or sudden clarity. It might come in the form of inner strength you didn't know you had, in the way you begin to smile again, in the way your prayers start to feel meaningful again, in the way you slowly forgive. That is healing. And it began because you decided to take a step toward the one who heals all things. So if you are waiting for your heart to be fixed, for your pain to be understood, for your soul to find peace, don't wait for the world to fix you. The world cannot do what only Allah can. Walk toward Him, call out to Him, call out to Him, give Him your wounds, show Him your effort. That is the beginning of every healing journey. You were not created to remain in darkness. You were not meant to carry your burdens alone. Allah is closer to you than your own heartbeat, and when you walk toward Him, healing doesn't just begin, it flows. Because no one heals like the one who created the heart in the first place. One of the most overlooked truths about love, attraction, and relationships is how the right person supports your healing. When someone is genuinely attracted to you, they don't just admire your strengths, they honor your weaknesses. They don't exploit your wounds or rush your growth. Instead, they make space for your healing. They understand that you may have come with scars, and rather than being intimidated by your brokenness, they choose to be gentle with it. This is one of the most powerful signs of sincerity, when someone sees your pain and chooses to walk with you patiently, not because it benefits them, but because they care about your wholeness. In today's world, people often seek relationships to escape their pain, hoping another person will heal what they are not willing to address. But healing is a personal responsibility. No one can fix you. However, the right person can support the environment where healing is possible. They don't trigger your past, they help you rise above it. They don't shame your trauma, they hold space for your transformation. They don't expect you to be perfect, they expect you to be real. This kind of presence is rare and precious, and if you ever experience it, you'll recognize its beauty immediately. The right person will never weaponize your vulnerability. They will not use what you confide in them as ammunition in a disagreement. They will not make you feel weak for being honest. Instead, they'll respond with compassion. When you say, "This is where I hurt," they'll say, "How can I support you?" They don't rush you to heal on their terms. They allow the process to unfold as it needs to. They understand that healing is not linear. There will be good days and hard days. They remain steady through both. When someone is sincerely attracted to you, they don't try to fix you, because they don't see you as broken. They see you as human. They admire your courage to heal. They notice your effort to become better, and they encourage that growth without judgment. They're not in love with your potential just to mold you into what they want. They're in love with your reality, even if it's a work in progress. And that love becomes a safe place where healing can truly begin. It's also important to note that the right person doesn't constantly remind you of your past. They don't make you relive your mistakes or shame you for who you used to be. They speak to the version of you that's trying to grow. They feed the light inside you, not the darkness. They remind you of who you can become, not what you were once trapped in. This is a reflection of sincere intention. When someone wants you, not just physically or emotionally, but spiritually, to see you whole, at peace and closer to your Creator, that is true attraction. Supportive presence is not always loud. It is often quiet. It's in the patience they show when you need space. It's in the way they check on you without prying. It's in the kindness of their tone, the way they avoid pushing your boundaries, the way they wait for you to open up instead of forcing you. They don't rush your healing to meet their emotional needs. They respect that your timeline is different from theirs. And most importantly, they make it clear that they are not leaving just because healing takes time. Sometimes people claim to love you, but get frustrated with your healing. They start off with empathy, but when the journey becomes messy or long, they disappear. They say, "Why are you still like this? Or haven't you moved on yet?" This reveals that their attraction was conditional. They wanted your polished version, not your process. But healing is sacred, and the people who respect it are the ones who deserve access to your heart. Anyone can love your smiles, but only the sincere will sit with you through your tears. True attraction doesn't manipulate, it doesn't gaslight, it doesn't dismiss your emotions, it doesn't say, "You're too sensitive," or "You're too damaged." It says, "I see that you're hurting, and I'm not going anywhere." Not because they are your savior, they know they aren't, but because they care. That care is not built on obligation, it is built on a deep understanding of what it means to love someone through their healing. Such a person will also encourage your connection with Allah as a central part of your healing. They will not ask you to rely on them more than you rely on your Creator. In fact, they'll remind you to place your trust in Him. They'll make dua for you, even if you never hear it. They'll send you reminders of hope and patience. They'll ask, "Did you pray about it?" rather than, "Why are you still upset?" Their love doesn't replace your spiritual journey, it enhances it. Healing with the support of the right person becomes a journey of shared growth. You'll find that your connection is not based on dependency, but on mutual encouragement. They'll work on themselves too. They'll admit when they're wrong. They'll seek forgiveness. They'll learn how to better love and support you. Because true attraction doesn't say, "I love you because you make me feel good." It says, "I love you because I want to walk with you toward what's good." In this kind of relationship, you'll start to feel safe being yourself. You won't feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. You'll find that you can exhale. You can speak without fear. You can show your emotions without shame. That safety is healing in itself, and it's not created by grand gestures or constant attention. It's created by consistency, kindness, and genuine care. If someone enters your life and respects your wounds, listens with patience, holds your pain with tenderness, and walks with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you, know that this is not ordinary. It is a mercy. And if their presence inspires you to seek Allah more, if their support feels like a reminder of His compassion, then hold on to that connection with gratitude and responsibility. Because the right person, the one who truly sees you and still chooses to stay, may not heal you completely, but their presence will remind you that healing is possible. And that reminder, offered with love and patience, is one of the most beautiful forms of attraction a heart can ever experience. Love that aids healing is not just a feeling, it is a form of mercy from Allah. It does not lead you into darkness, confusion, or sin. It brings you closer to your Lord, strengthens your soul, and revives your heart. It is calm, it is intentional, and it is filled with light. When someone is genuinely attracted to you in a way that pleases Allah, their love becomes a source of healing because it aligns you with your purpose, not your pain. That kind of love doesn't distract you from who you are meant to become, it helps you remember. In a world full of noisy relationships and emotional chaos, the love that brings healing is quiet but powerful. It does not rush, it does not demand what is impermissible, it doesn't play with your boundaries or confuse your heart. Instead, it encourages you to pray more, trust more, and grow in faith. It uplifts your spirit, not your ego. It brings peace, not pressure. When someone is drawn to you in this way, you will find yourself becoming more aware of Allah, not less. You will feel pulled toward obedience, not disobedience. This is the kind of love that heals. Too often people confuse intense attraction with deep connection. Just because someone makes your heart race, does not mean they are good for your soul. Real connection, the kind that is guided by faith, is measured by what the relationship does to your deen. Does it increase your remembrance of Allah? Does it motivate you to become a better person? Does it make you want to protect your soul and your future? These are the questions that help you recognize if the love is a blessing or a burden. Healing love will never pull you away from your values, it will always protect them. When Allah sends someone as a form of mercy, you will know by how they treat your heart. They won't rush your healing or exploit your vulnerability. They won't use sweet words to lead you down the wrong path. They will respect your journey. They will wait if they must. They will take the halal path, no matter how difficult it may seem, because they fear Allah more than they fear losing you. That is love grounded in faith, not desire. And love rooted in faith is the most healing kind of all. One of the most profound signs of love that heals is that it helps you let go of what hurts. When someone loves you sincerely, they don't just accept your pain, they gently help you release it. They remind you that you are not defined by your past. They remind you that Allah's mercy is greater than any mistake. They help you rewrite your narrative, not by pretending the pain never existed, but by helping you see how far you've come. Their words are not just romantic, they are spiritual. They speak to your soul. They remind you to make dua. They hold your hand when you feel weak. They sit in silence with you and don't rush you to be okay. That kind of presence, soft, steady, sincere, is healing in itself. Healing love does not compete with your relationship with Allah, it supports it. It never becomes an idol in your life. It never demands your full attention at the expense of your prayers, your focus, or your peace. It does not make you obsess. It helps you reflect. It does not make you need. It teaches you to be whole. Because when love is guided by faith, it does not replace Allah in your heart, it reminds you of Him. Such love understands that everything good must begin with intention. It doesn't chase temporary highs or secret interactions. It starts with clarity and continues with effort. The person who truly wants you in a way that pleases Allah will not be afraid of commitment. They won't hide their intentions. They won't make excuses for delay. They won't keep you in confusion. They'll say, let's do this the right way. And even if there are delays, challenges, or waiting periods, they will use that time to build their character, improve their connection with Allah, and prepare themselves to be a source of peace, not pain. It's important to understand that healing love is not always loud or flashy. It may not come with grand gestures or endless messages. It may be simple, quiet, gentle, but it's consistent. It shows up. It doesn't disappear when life gets hard. It doesn't abandon you when you're not at your best. Instead, it reminds you of your worth in Allah's eyes. It sees your effort and respects your struggle. That's why it heals, because it does not demand perfection. It accepts the process. There is something sacred about being loved for the sake of Allah. When someone sees you struggling and says, I still choose you, and I will wait for what is halal, that love becomes a form of worship. Their affection becomes an act of obedience. And when two people walk that path with sincerity, they begin to heal not just from their own wounds, but from the wounds of this world. Together they create a space that is filled with compassion, mercy, and remembrance. That kind of love is rare, but it is possible. And it begins by first becoming that kind of person yourself. If you want love that heals, become someone whose love is healing. Pray for the one you love. Respect their journey. Never pull them towards sin. Remind them of their purpose. Be the person who brings calm, not chaos, who listens without judgment, who supports without control, who gives without conditions. That is how healing love is created. At the end of the day, the love that heals is love that honors. It honors Allah, it honors you, and it honors the journey you're on. It walks with you toward light, not shadows. It's built on patience, not passion, on discipline, not desire, on truth, not temptation. And when it's rooted in faith, it becomes one of the greatest gifts this life can offer, a source of healing that carries into the next life. So if you ever feel love that inspires you to be closer to Allah, to be better, kinder, and more focused on what matters, hold onto it with gratitude, protect it with sincerity, and most importantly, ask Allah to bless it, purify it, and make it a source of healing not just for your heart, but for your soul.